Hi guys, this is part 2 of the math journal pages for lesson 7-7. So let's get started. I broke it up into 2 sections because I just didn't want you guys getting overwhelmed if the video was super long. So let's look at problem number 3. It says Jeremiah and Jeff. So that's actually another way, if you wrote the full name Jeffrey, it's just another way to spell Jeffrey, but it's pronounced the same way. So Jeremiah and Jeff are raising money for the art club. Jeremiah raised $117 selling 9 raffle tickets. Jeff raised $144 selling 8 fruit baskets. Which cost more, a raffle ticket or a fruit basket? And then how much more? So just like the last page that we did, they're asking you to do an estimate, to answer the question, and then to write an equation with the letter for the unknown value. So first, let's do the estimate. So let's do the raffle tickets. So I'm going to put raffle for raffle tickets. So it says Jeremiah raised about $117, which $117 is close to 100, so I'm going to keep it as 100. So let's just say he raised $100. I rounded down. Divided by 9 raffle tickets to figure out how much each ticket costs. So 9 is close to 10. So we can say that each ticket probably costs close to $10 each. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the fruit basket. So I'm going to put FB for fruit basket. So Jeff raised $144, which is close to $150. So I'm going to round up to $150 by selling 8 fruit baskets. Well, 8 is close to 10, so I'm going to divide it by 10 to figure out how much does each basket cost about. So 150 divided by 10 is about $15 each fruit basket. So now I have to figure out if the fruit basket costs $15 and the raffle tickets only cost $10 each, then the fruit basket costs more and by $5 more. So that's how we would do this with an estimate. So now we want to write an equation with the letter for the unknown value. So the first thing that you would do is you would take that $144 that that Jeff made, and you're going to divide that by 8 for how many fruit baskets he sold. And I'm going to put that in a parenthesis. You're taking that total and you're going to subtract it by what Jeremiah did. He sold $117 worth of 9 raffle tickets. And then you would get R for whichever costs more. You can do any letter you want. All right, so now I'm going to split my work in half, and one side is going to be Jeremiah and one side is going to be Jeff. So let's do Jeremiah's first, and I'm going to put a R for raffle tickets, and he sold $117, and we want to figure out how much each raffle ticket cost, and he sold 9 raffle tickets. So 117 divided by 9. So I know that 9 times 10 is 90, which is pretty close to 117. So 9 times 10 is 90. And if I subtracted 117 divided by 90, I'm left with 7 minus 0, which is 7. If I make this an 11, I have to make this a 0. So 11 minus 9 is 2. So I know that 27 is a multiple of 9 because 9 times 3 is 27. So I have no remainder. And each raffle ticket costs $13. Okay, so now let's figure out about Jeff. Jeff sold 8 fruit baskets for a total of 144. So we have to divide. If I do 8 times 10, it would give me 80. And if I subtracted 144 minus 80, I would get 64. And I know that 64 divided by 8 is going to have no remainder because 64 is a multiple of 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. No remainder, and I'm left with 18. So now I know that each fruit basket costs $18. So I'm just going to erase a little bit of the problem here so I have room to write, sorry. And same here. So now we have to answer our question. The blank are blank more than blank. So which one costs more? The fruit basket costs more. So the fruit basket are $5, right? Because 18 minus 13 is 5, more than the raffle tickets. Okay, we're done with problem 3. Last but not least, problem 4. So Jessica, oh, that's my sister's name. Jessica is in charge of a big summer concert in the park. She is planning for 400 people to attend. She can seat 250 people in the stands, which fit 7 people per row. The remaining people must sit in folding chairs, which can be set up in rows of 9. How many total rows of people will attend the concert? So now we have to figure out how many people, how many rows are going to be of people in the stands, and how many rows are people in folding chairs, and then add those two numbers together. So we're going to start with our estimate. So we're going to do the stands first. So the rows in the stands, and actually I'm going to put rows so we don't forget. Rows in stands, which is equal to, she said that she can fit about 250 people in the stands, right? Because 252 is very close to 250, which can fit about 7 rows. And 7 is close to 10. So 250 divided by 10 is 25. So she has about 25 rows in the stands. So now let's figure out how many rows are in folding chairs. So the rows in chairs is how many people are remaining. So it says here that the remaining people must sit on folding chairs. So she had 400 people, and we subtracted the 250 people that can go in the stands. So let's just say I round the 400 to 500 people minus 250, because I could do that easily in my head, and I'm left with about 250 people. So it's basically split in half. Half were in the stands, half were in folding chairs. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I can even estimate closer. So if I have 400 people minus our estimate of 250 people in the stands, I'm left with 150 people in chairs. So 150 people in chairs, and they can be in rows of 9, which is close to 10, and I'm left with 15 rows of chairs. Now, you're going to take that 25 rows plus 15 rows. So she needs about 40 rows all together. About 40 rows total to seat all 400 people. Now, we know that that was just an estimate. That's not an exact. So now we have to figure all of this out. So she has 400 people minus the 252 people she can fit in the stands. So we have to borrow. So this would become a 3, this would become a 10, which we then would change to a 9 to make this a 10. So we're just borrowing. So if 10 minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 5 is 4, 3 minus 2 is 1. So right now, she has 148 people sitting in folding chairs. And she has 250 people sitting in the stands for a total of 400 people that are attending her event. So I'm going to split my work area in half, and I'm going to do green for people in the stands. So I'm going to take that 252 people, and I'm going to divide it by 7 to see how many people can fit, how many rows they would need to fit 252 people. So I know that 7 times 30 would get me close, would get me 210. So if I subtract, I get 42, which I know that 42 is a multiple of 7, because 6 times 7 is 42. So I have no remainder, and I'm at 36. So in the stands, she has 36 rows of people. Okay, we figured out that in the folding chairs is the remainder of the people. So she already sat 252 in the stands out of the 400. That's where we got that 148. So now she could fit 9 people in each row, and she has 148 people. So you have to divide. So I'm going to do 9 times 10, which will get me kind of close, get me to 90. 8, I have to make this 14, and this is 0. So 14 minus 9 would give me 5. Now, I already know that 58 is not a multiple of 9, so I'm going to have a remainder. So I know that 6 times 9 would get me close. It would get me to 54. And I'm left with 4 people. So now remember, each row can hold 9 people. So is the last row going to be complete? No, because there'll be seats left over. So she has 16 rows, but we have to round up because of the remainder of 4, right? We can't just tell those people they can't come. We have to open up a whole nother row for them to sit in. So actually, we have to add a row, which would be 17 rows. So in total, if she had 36 rows of people in the stands, plus 17 rows of folding chairs, she is going to be there will be 53 rows of people for her big summer concert. So what did you do with the remainders you found? You have to add another row to fit the remaining people. The row will only have 4 out of the 9 chairs filled. It won't be a complete row. Okay, so the first page was all about division with no remainders, and this one was dealing with remainders.